The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the views or ideas of the staff or management of KWSH or the 110 Broadcast Group.
Good morning, and welcome to another edition of the Seminole Nation radio program. I'm your host, Bo WHITEKILLER, this morning, sitting here inside the studios of KWSH in Seminole, located just east of Walmart. If any of you guys ever wondered where we're at, we're about east of Walmart, about a mile or two. We've got the big old radio tower up and running. Having a good day today. We're going to have a special guest this morning. I'm just waiting for the arrival, but just to let you know, we're doing all we can to social distance, to remain vigilant, to make sure that the spread of the coronavirus is almost non-existent in our area. If I sound a little different this morning, a little muffled, I've got a Clorox wipe on my microphone. So if it's giving me that husky Barry White voice, then you know why. I've got the Clorox wipe going here and sitting front and center on our desk. So I hope you guys are practicing what you need to do, doing the things that you need to do to combat this illness and this virus. And we'll get through this. We will get through this. This is resiliency in action. Today we're going to talk about some things that are happening on the forefront. I do want to make this announcement, and it was kind of convoluted this morning, but we will have some more produce drops. Yesterday, braving the cold and the wind conditions out at Mississippi Mission, there were produce vegetables that was donated by the Walmart Corporation, and in conjunction with the Cherokee Nation coordinating the effort, we were able to provide some produce for the surrounding communities and our tribal members, and it was really a good time. Good, a lot of good smiles, a lot of people that came out. We do have an abundance of produce that's left. It's specifically Roma tomatoes, and so we will be giving those out today too as well. I did put out a issuance of 2 stops to in the next couple of days, one today and then one tomorrow. I need to make a correction. There will be an additional stop at the Older American program today at 2 o'clock. So there will be 2 stops today, one at the I-40 Travel Plaza and Casino parking lot, and one stop at the same time from 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock at the Older American program parking lot in Wewoka. So there'll be 2 stops going on at the same time today. So come on out if you wanted to get some nice fresh Roma tomatoes. There's your chance. I will tell you this. Last night I did take mine home, put that salt on it, salt and tomatoes, washed them up, of course. Boy, that was good eating. Salt and tomatoes. So we'll see what we can do with it tonight. And then tomorrow, more First Indian Baptists at 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock. There will be another stop of the produce for that area. So the rodeo program will be broadcast tomorrow. So if you're out and about and listening on Facebook tomorrow morning, you'll be able to get the word out to those in that Moore community that we will have another drop at 2 to 5 on Wednesday. At this time, it was brought to my attention that a lot of people keep seeing the hashtag Seminole Nation counts. What does that mean? What does that mean to me as a Seminole tribal member whenever I see this hashtag Seminole Nation counts on social media? Well, Seminole Nation of Oklahoma Communications Department, in conjunction with the Complete Count Committee of the Seminole Nation, has put out a campaign in which is the Seminole Nation Counts is a direct reflection of our involvement in the census. Seminole Nation, whenever you put it on the census form as you're filling it out as a tribal affiliation, will designate us or designate individuals who belong to the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma specifically will be included in the count, and then will be targeted in that count as well. So it basically just gives us specifics on who is being counted. So if you put Seminole Nation as your tribal affiliation, that will designate and let the people know it does the data assessment that you belong to the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma. So how this affects us is that the direct funding and funding for our programs and services will be specifically targeted and geared toward our nation. And those things, the distinction of tribal affiliation regarding the geographic separation of the Oklahoma and Florida nations will assist in that more accurate and specific count on the final census rolls. So remember, Seminole Nation counts, tribal affiliation, Seminole Nation, Seminole Nation. We do have some tragedy that was within the country, and it actually affects us personally. And I do want to send a heartfelt thoughts and prayers for the Larney and Yellowfish families. We recently lost 2 family members in a car accident. Sadie Lynn Larney was born December 30th, 2000. She was 19, and Reagan Marie Larney, 2 years of age, born January 12th, 2018. Services will be there will be no wake service, and funeral services are scheduled for 2 p.m. Wednesday Funeral services are scheduled for 2 p.m. Wednesday, April 15th at High Spring Baptist Church Pavilion under the direction of Swearingen Funeral Home in Conowal. Billy Marriott will officiate, and burial will follow at the Isham Harjo Family Cemetery. Keep the family in prayers. I will say that yesterday, personally, we were trying to report some of the events that went on at the food assistance. Hopefully, at some point in the future, we'll be able to continue this program. Actually, it was just one of those things that Walmart donated enough food for each of the tribes in the eastern part of the state to receive produce, and it was really a good time, a good gathering. All the volunteers and all the personnel that came out and helped out with that, it was pretty kasuppy. I will tell you that it was pretty kasuppy, but at the same time, there was a lot more warm hearts out there, and selfless servants handing out the produce. And we did get a lot of compliments, a lot of things that went on to support this endeavor. But hopefully in the future, at some point, we'll be able to continue it. But we do want to give a thanks to the Walmart Corporation and the Cherokee Nation of Oklahoma for providing assistance and coordination in this program, and also to you, the listener, and our employees out there that braved that cold weather. But it was fun, and we're going to do it again today. Seminole Tribal member Cynthia Yerby received emeritus status. Emeritus status is an honor conferred by the college to show respect for a distinguished career. Recently, the Seminole State College Board of Regents granted emeritus status to 4 former Seminole State College employees recommended by President Lana Reynolds, and one of the 4 was the enrollment manager advisor Cynthia Yerby, who you know her as Sister from Wolf. Cynthia began her Seminole State College career in 1978, and during those 31 years, she served as a recruiter, cheerleader, sponsor of the Native American Student Association, and student services coordinator. For 28 of those years, she's also served as sponsor for the Student Government Association. I gotta give a shout out to Cynthia, and I want to say Kelsey Morrell, and also Natalie Harjo, who has selflessly, and there may be more of you, and I didn't, excuse me for failing to mention, but their efforts in this time during the COVID-19 outbreak have provided some of our healthcare workers with masks, and also with some of our elder people with masks that they hand sewed and put on their time to put this endeavor out for those folks that are either sitting at home or working in the healthcare departments. But all those 3, and I want to say Josie Albertson too, come to mind. They have actually just provided some really nice masks. We'll get to see some of them yesterday during the event that we had with the food assistance. But they spent some of their time over this downtime to sew up masks, and they really did a good job. I just want to give a shout out to them as well. On the United for Oklahoma front, recently, Oklahoma tribal leaders called on Governor Stitt to issue a shelter-in-place order across the state. This is the surest path to continuing the virus's public health risk and to limit its longer-term social disruptions. In this press release that was put out by the United for Oklahoma organization, tribal leaders wrote this letter, and it was basically to go a little bit further than the Safer in Place program that the governor has in store right now, and it's basically targeted for the 65 and over and those that have health conditions that are at high risk. The tribal leaders came together and signed this letter to acknowledge that there is probably a little bit more that we need to do as far as being safer in place, more or less to shelter in place. So more to follow on those fronts, but we did have some leaders along with our leader, Chief Greg Chilcote, sign off on that document. If you look on our Seminole Nation of Oklahoma Facebook page, some questions came to our office at the Communications Department about the Economic Impact Payment, also known as the coronavirus payment. And basically what this is the government did sign into law that personnel will be able to receive a stimulus check. Now, information on that, will just direct you to look at the IRS website. Non-filers, if you didn't file a tax return, there's information there on how to obtain some type of traffic to get that payment to you. So please, if you get a chance to talk to one of your elders or someone who may not be familiar with the website or going online and filling out forms, I encourage you to take some time out and identify and help them out, because there is some important information here. But non-filers, you do have information on the IRS website, and just go to irs.gov and you will see the information that's needed to sign up for the stimulus payment. Excuse me. Dated April 9th, a statement from Chief Greg Chilcote was put out as a press release, and here is the words to that effect of what the press release said. April 9th, 2020. Quote, "As we all know, the magnitude of the coronavirus has left a lasting impact on all of us. Due to the serious nature, the Seminole Nation complex and gaming enterprise casinos will remain closed until further notice. We hope that this will help mitigate the spread of COVID-19. We send our appreciation to all who are instrumental in providing education about the COVID-19 and the individuals who are working to provide the health care necessary for all people. Please keep in mind, as we move forward, social distancing and sanitizing. In understanding this is our responsibility will help us fight the global pandemic that has encompassed our nation." And signed, Chief Greg P. Chilcote. As this virus has helped in many ways to slow down our efforts in just going along our daily lives, what are your thoughts? We were talking about this earlier. A couple people had called up at the office there at the Communications Department. So what are your thoughts, and how has this changed your life as far as slowing down and kind of looking at things and things that you've probably taken for granted? What are some changes that have been positive in your life that this time has helped out? Please call us at the office and let us know. We're very interested in some of the thoughts that you may have, or hit us up on the social media sites on Facebook, because we see a lot of negativity, a lot of things that are going on nowadays that are really negative in a sense of as we try to go on the daily front, day-to-day operations that want to bring down our heat. And of course we also too understand that some of these things are just we have to vent, we got to lash out, we got to say something negative in order to make ourselves feel better, but it's only for a short time. So we're interested, what are some positive things that you may have, and we'd like to share some of those things as feedback on our social media sites. So I'll put up something on our Facebook site to that fact. Please answer. Send your comments on how you're handling things in a positive front. What are some good things that are going on? I got to give a shout out to Rex Haley. Rex Haley and his crew out there actually at the food distribution site. Tireless efforts, working long hours, of course, keeping the social distancing and the effects of what's going on at bay. They're doing a great job. They do a tremendous job making sure that everybody has their appointments and they have their food bagged up when they get there. They're really servants to the nation, and I just want to give a shout out to Rex and his crew out there and what they're doing at the food distribution place. And also, too, with that being said, Martha Wynn and the CHRs assisting are doing a great job out there at the food, handling the food and distributing the food to our elders at the Elder American program. I had a chance to go out and kind of just watch them and just, you kind of sit back and observe some of these things, and you really get to see the heart and soul of what it is to be Seminole, because those folks out there, they have a job, they're servants, and they work really, really hard. And a lot of times they're almost like soldiers. You don't really think a lot of what a soldier does and how the support system that he has until you get a chance to slow down. But as a soldier, you have to have that support system, a family, and for many of our soldiers, you got to include the family in that soldiering. And I think about that with Rex and Martha and all those that are working out there, and they're doing a great job of making sure that things don't stop. Even with this virus going on, they make sure things are just continuing to move, and their families. We just want to thank them too as well for what they do. So if you have any questions about Rex's department, 2 ways of service. To get service at the food distribution, please call in and set an appointment and give your order over the phone. Food distribution will box up the food and have it ready when you arrive. Call in your appointment or come to the office, and an employee will take your food order in person, box it up while you wait. For more information about Rex's food distribution program out there, please call 405-234-5240. That's 405-234-5240, or call Rex on his cell, 405-220-5342. But make sure it's during the business hours, please. The USDA has approved maximum monthly allotment to SNAP customers in accordance with the Families First Coronavirus Response Act signed by the President last week. The USDA has granted approval to Oklahoma Human Services Department to issue emergency allotments to SNAP customers. This action is to address temporary food needs due to the pandemic-related economic conditions of the COVID-19 virus. SNAP households are eligible for this temporary emergency supplement because of the public health emergency declared by the U.S. Secretary of Health and Human Services and the statewide emergency declaration. This allotment allows up to the maximum monthly amount based on SNAP customers' household size. Only SNAP households who do not currently receive the maximum benefit amount in their household size will receive this supplement. Supplements will be delivered on the household's existing EBT card. The supplements are currently approved for the months of March and April 2020. No application or request on this supplement is required, and SNAP customers do not need to contact Oklahoma State Department of Health and Human Services on their caseworkers. So just some information there. If you wanted to know why you received an increased allotment on your card, then there you go. Tribal court notification on March 20th. This is coming from the tribal court, Linda Stewart. On March 20th, 2020, Chief Greg Chilcote issued an executive order declaring a state of emergency for the Seminole Nation. The intent of the order is to coordinate response and protective actions to prevent the spread of the novel coronavirus. The court therefore makes the following revision to its previous plan of action. All non-essential functions of the court will be suspended effective at the close of business, March 23rd. Court clerk's office will be closed to the public. Essential duties will be handled remotely. Emergency filings will continue to be handled as necessary. Petitioners will not need to call the numbers listed below to make Correction. Petitioners will need to call the numbers listed below to make the appointment or to file an emergency. Only necessary parties need be present. All other petitions and or motions will be accepted by mail. Please mail petitions and or motions with the required filing fees to the the Seminole Nation Tribal Court at P.O. Box 2307, Seminole, Oklahoma, until further notice. Pleadings will continue to be filed and issued for service as they are received. Documents where no filing fee is required may be submitted by email to stewart.l, stewart.l, at sno-nsn.gov. Subject only to constitutional limitations, all non-emergency hearings will be rescheduled with notices sent to the parties. Judges will use remote participation to the extent possible by using teleconferencing and or other means. So if you have any information or want to leave a message, please contact the Court Clerk Director's Office. That's Linda Stewart at 405-221-0587. That's Tribal Court, Linda Stewart, Court Clerk Director at 405-221-0587, or Tiffany Ramirez, the Probation Manager, at 405-584-9925. I'm thankful for Dennis because he does a lot of announcing of some of our events during the Tradio hours in the morning. And I talked to him earlier. He gave me a request and contemplating that because Tradio has been a big part of our lives here. We think about it, what's going on here in Seminole County, and a lot of our news, and a lot of you out there listening probably gleaned some of the information through Tradio. It's like one of them warm country biscuits in the morning. It's got that gravy poured over it. I mean, it just so good when you listen to it, and you can kind of tell the characters when they're on there too. That's one thing that we do in our office when we listen. We're always saying, I wonder who that person is, or trying to guess who somebody we might know. But a lot of the information that we give on Seminole for the Seminole community, we push out through Tradio, and thank Dennis and KWSH for pushing that out there in the mornings. Some of the updates that we're going to give you, and nothing's really changed. Business continues in some of our programs. We do have essential, non-essential as titles for some areas, but the work goes on. The work goes on, and I like to thank anybody that's out there that's listening right now. Seminole Nation employees, Mado for your work, and Mado for your families for letting you work. And those of you out there that are at home listening to us, hang in there. Day to day, we're trying to continue to work those things out so that we can all be back together once again. Let's continue to pray upon that. I'm looking through my little iPad here, trying to find some of the information that we have gleaned. Some of you out there that are in school, what are you doing what are you trying to do to stay abreast of what's going on? How are you battling I'm sure some of you have boredom. I've got 2 teenagers that seem like they're bored, but they got enough schoolwork that they're always staying busy. How are you guys? How are some of you young'uns under the age of 18? How are you guys handling things? And I don't mean you, Mark Williams. I know what you're doing. But how are you handling things? Going to school? Send us your information. Send us some of the things that's going on with you. Seminole Nation, Seminole Media at gmail.com. Seminole Media at gmail.com. I got a Seminole Middle School David Dean Principal announcement. He has announcement notice of meeting. The virtual address will be on Zoom. I'll put all this information out on our Seminole Nation Facebook page, but there'll be a Zoom meeting, and it also has a password on it, so you can chime in and try the virtual meetings. But other than that, I think we're going to go ahead and sign off. Again, some of the information that you want to talk to us about, you just want to vent, hit us up at seminolemedia@gmail.com. We check the emails daily. and make sure that whatever you want to talk about, we'll talk about and listen. A lot of times we're going to give opinions or examples of solutions, but we'll sit and listen. We can do that. So talk to us. How are you handling things, young people, during this COVID-19? And also to some of you out there, what are some good things that you're doing and to cope with this COVID-19 virus? With that, I'm just going to say, Hadam Chihi Chatlis. I'm going to get my Clorox wipe off this microphone and jet out and get ready for lunch. I want to thank Dennis and the KWSH studios for doing their part on social distancing, and I'd like to thank Clorox for making things happen. Until next time, we'll see you on the Facebook, Seminole Nation of Oklahoma, the Instagram, Sinnat Oklahoma, and Twitter, which is Seminole Nation _, and on YouTube, Facebook channel. Until then, we'll talk to you later. Mado, we love you.